Continuing on here with our series from Chapter 3 is the idea of website organization. Now, I understand that this seems like the least important possible thing to worry about on your priorities list, but what I can tell you is absolutely positively website organization is one of those things that you should be paying attention to from the very beginning. So this is on page 72. Really, here are highlighted that there are three different kinds of website organization. And what I can tell you is that that is untrue. Really, there are only two different kinds of website organization. The only two of any merit are the hierarchy at the very top. Sorry about that, guys. Hierarchical at the very top and linear, the second one there. Let's start with linear, and we'll move our way from there. Linear is here on page 73, and essentially it says you move from your home page to page to page to page to page in a straight linear, think of it as essentially a time-based order. That is okay if you are a blog. That is okay in some circumstances. If you have a very, very small web property, this is not a value proposition. Small simply meaning it is never going to expand past a couple of pages. So instead of homepage, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, if you think about like a personal branded website, you would have home, about me, portfolio, contact, something like that. If your property rather, is never going to expand past that, theoretically it's okay to have a linear design. By preference, you would have, up here on page 72, a hierarchical design. You can see it in figure 3.4. The hierarchical design is better because it suggests that you are, from the very beginning, you are going to develop your web property with an idea for where things are going to go. At the very top of your hierarchy is your home page. So if we are RVC, that is going to be rockvalleycollege.edu, right? So that is our landing page. The next set in the hierarchy here would be whatever our next pages are going to be. So those here on that second, I'm going to call it the second tier, right, of whatever we're doing, is going to be things like academics, financial aid, so on and so forth. From there, we're going to continue down to another level in our hierarchy. So if we are going, to assume here, and this is academics. And here we would have things like, fall, we would have programs, whatever we're going to have. Even under programs, we could have more pieces to our hierarchy, right? We would have one for CIS, we would have one for web, we would have a general studies tab, so on and so forth. If you can decide on a hierarchy in the beginning, and if you can stick to that hierarchy moving forward, what you'll prevent is pages becoming orphaned. So what do I mean by pages becoming orphaned? Over the course of a web property, you are going to have, very, very probably, you are going to have numerous steps down into your hierarchy. So just like we see here on 3.5, we've got, this page right here is, cascading down, till finally you're going to come to a new page. Now, perhaps, this page up here was written in 2009, and this one down here is written in 2019. This is a decade worth of time in between those two pages. That's a huge amount of time for things to go wrong. Now, on rockvalleycollege.edu, that page is not, or that property rather, is not 10 years old the way we see it. And it's probable that a lot of those 10-year-old pages are no longer there. But if we were to take a different page, if we were going to, once again, look at our favorite punching bag, yahoo.com, if we were to look at that, there are properties, or there are pages rather in that property that are 15, 17, 20 years old that, you know, there's probably not a lot of use for, but you have to be able to find. So properties like Wikipedia, properties like yahoo.com, properties like that, absolutely have to stick to a very, very stringent hierarchical structure. So it may be true that, you know, in yahoo.com, that you are not going to have a ton of new, you know, very large pieces to your hierarchy. So up here, we would have Yahoo. And under that, we would have, you know, finance and sports, etc., right? And under that, we are going to have new portions to our hierarchy. And over time, however, these hierarchy charts get very, very, very deep. And the reason that we have unorphaned pages, so the reason that, you know, you are looking for a new, you know, or an old rather page on a previous Super Bowl. So you want to go back and find the Patriots' first Super Bowl win. That goes back 17 years nearly, I think. That means that you are going to go back and back and back and back and back and back through this hierarchy incredibly, incredibly deeply. So the only reason you can find out, you know, who was the roster that was active in the first Patriots win versus who was the active roster for the last Patriots win, the reason you're actually able to do that is, in fact, because of the hierarchy.